I want to start right off with the new executive order from President Biden regarding artificial intelligence. Can you tell us specifically what this executive order means for workers and the workplace?
Yes, so this is really the most sweeping statement by an administration on the impacts of artificial intelligence and also on the role that government and the private sector working together can have on the development, the deployment, and the use of AI in ways that are beneficial. The president has been very clear that we both want to embrace the potential for AI to improve lives, to allow us to do things that we haven't been able to do before, and also to make sure that there are guardrails to prevent against some of the harms of AI. The EO is very strong on data security and privacy, on national security. And he believes, as I do, that we don't have to choose between innovation and workers' rights. We can find a path in which we promote and embrace the advantages of both of those things. And as a president who's been very clear that we cannot build an economy or a nation that we want without centering the well-being of working people, this executive order really leans heavily into that.
So let's cut right to the chase. The big concern, and I'm not sure if it's a concern that's just in the public mind or if it's a real concern, is that AI is going to come along and replace a whole lot of jobs. What does this executive order, what can you as a acting labor secretary do to protect workers, and should you be acting to protect workers from losing their job from artificial intelligence?
So a couple things on that. One is that this executive order recognizes that there is going to be an impact in the workforce of AI, and we want to be thinking proactively about what that looks like. So the executive order talks about, to the extent there's some displacement, what does that look like and what are we going to do to help workers with the transition? But also acknowledging that AI is just not about replacing workers. It's about enhancing the ability of workers to do their jobs. It's about supporting and complementing workers. It's about asking the question, how can AI actually improve the lives of workers? How can AI help to support workers in doing parts of their jobs that are currently difficult and backbreaking and grueling? And the executive order is very clear that none of these things are inevitable, right? It's not like robots are coming and we just have to hunker down and prepare for it. It's that the choices we make along the way will determine the impacts of AI when it comes to workers. And we want to make those choices in a way that benefits workers, that improves job quality, that brings more people into the workforce, that maybe eliminates some of the discriminatory aspects of hiring and retention. And how do we look at AI? How do we ask the question the right way so that AI can be used to benefit working people? So we have to think about how job creation can allow us to train workers for those jobs, including workers who've been left out in the past. So there's a lot of aspects to it. The most important point is that none of it is inevitable. We have choices to make, and we're going to make them in a way that benefits working people.
AI was recently a big issue in several strikes that were recently resolved. What did the resolution of the AI issues tell us about potential ways to solve some of these future problems?
So that's such an important question, Steve. Thank you for that. I mean, one of the things that we have already seen with the deployment of technology and AI in the workplace are some of the negative impacts, right? There's the negative impacts in terms of worker health and safety, surveillance, technology used to surveil workers, technology used to speed up work in ways that make it harder for workers to protect themselves, surveillance used and AI used to deter workers from organizing. There's also AI that we've seen that can reinforce discriminatory habits or patterns or practices. And so what we've seen, though, again, in the theme of none of this is inevitable, is that when workers have a seat at the table, when workers are able to make choices and make demands, frankly, and help to shape how AI is going to be utilized, it can not only be good for workers, it can actually also be good for employers and help pave a path in the industry in a way that is going to be human enhancing. And so in various negotiating tables that I've been a part of and those that I've watched, from healthcare workers to Hollywood to hospitality, workers are saying we want a voice in how AI is going to be utilized. So in Hollywood, it's about transparency. When AI is utilized, people should know, workers should get to know if their digital likeness is going to be used again and get to approve it or not. Consumers should know when AI has been used to generate something. We see that when you negotiate, you can also talk about how you could deploy AI in ways and take the best of what human beings are needed to do and make sure that you preserve those good jobs and have workers continue to benefit from the good jobs in industries, across the spectrum. And having workers get a say in that makes a really big difference.